Hunger changes a child. It steals the color from their voice, the confidence from their spine, and replaces it with a kind of trembling bravery no kid should ever need. So when the one-legged girl limped toward Keanu Reeves' table, stopping beside his half-eaten meal, she didn't ask for money or pity. Just a whisper, a hope. Please, could I have just one bite? The fork froze in Keanu's hand, and what he did next stunned everyone watching. Before we continue, thank you so much for watching and supporting these stories. If you enjoy emotional, human-centered narratives with powerful twists and real heart, make sure you're subscribed and turn on notifications. Your support truly helps us bring more stories like this to life. Keanu Reeves never liked being recognized when he was trying to eat. Not because he disliked people, no, he loved people, more than most actors ever dared to show, but because quiet moments were rare for him. Peace was rare. A plate of still warm food, a cool breeze across a small outdoor diner, a moment where he didn't have to smile for a camera or hold a stranger's pain, those moments were precious. Today was one of the few he had to himself. At least that's what he thought. Keanu had just lifted his fork when he heard it, a soft, uneven shuffle, not the steps of someone walking normally. It was slower, dragged, hesitant. Like each move took effort, like each inch forward required more courage than a person should have to spend. He didn't look up at first. But then a voice, small, raspy, trembling, whispered, Sir, see, can I ask you something?" Keanu turned. And that was when he saw her. A girl, maybe 12, maybe younger, covered in dirt, her cheeks hollowed from hunger, her hair tangled around a face too innocent for the world that had clearly battered her. But what struck him hardest wasn't her thin frame, or the way her ribs pressed through her shirt. It was her leg, or rather the absence of it. Her left pant leg was tied into a knot where a limb should have been. She balanced awkwardly on a crude wooden crutch, wrapped with duct tape and fraying rope. Every time she breathed, the effort made her wobble. And she looked ashamed of it. "I'm sorry," she whispered quickly when she saw his surprised expression. "I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't bother you. I just wanted to know if maybe you weren't going to finish your food, if I could, maybe have the leftovers." She pointed to his plate, not to his face. As if she couldn't bring herself to look him in the eyes. As if she expected him to yell or ignore her, or pretend she wasn't there. Keanu's stomach tightened painfully. People always assumed he was gentle because he was famous, because he was Hollywood nice. But they didn't understand kindness wasn't a performance for him. It was how he survived the world. But this girl wasn't asking for kindness. She was asking for the barest slice of human decency. A bite. One bite. Her lower lip trembled. She swallowed hard and shifted on her crutch, silently begging herself not to fall, not to embarrass herself. Behind them, two businessmen sitting a few tables away scoffed loudly. "Kids like that always know how to find the rich ones," one muttered. "Bet she's faking half of it," the other snorted. "They always do." The girl flinched. Keanu felt something deep inside him crack. He pushed his plate gently toward her. But instead of relief, the girl panicked. "And no, wait, I didn't mean for you to give it all to me," she said quickly, shaking her head. I just wanted one bite, just enough to stop my stomach from hurting. I swear I'm not." Her voice broke mid-sentence. She covered her mouth, trying to hide the sounds of her crying. Keanu stood up slowly, not rushing her, not startling her, just rising with the quiet determination of someone who sees a child in pain and refuses to let her face it alone. He crouched down to her height. "Hey," he said softly, "you don't have to explain anything to me." Her eyes flickered up. Hesitant, disbelieving. "Are you sure?" she whispered. "I don't want to take what isn't mine." Keanu looked at the untouched plate of warm food. "I think it was always meant to be yours," he said gently. That was all she needed. Her shoulders collapsed with relief, but not just relief, exhaustion. The kind of exhaustion that came from fighting through each day with no guarantee of surviving the next. She tried to lift the fork, but her hand shook too violently. So Keanu pulled out a chair for her slowly, so she didn't feel rushed, carefully, so she didn't feel pitied. She sat down the way wounded animals do, cautious, uncertain if the world was about to hurt her again. Keanu slid the plate in front of her. "Eat," he said softly. "Take your time." She whispered something he almost didn't hear. "Thank you." She picked up one bite at first, one tiny bite, and chewed like it was a gift from heaven. Then another. Then another. Until suddenly her body remembered what hunger felt like, and she ate desperately, tearfully, apologizing between mouthfuls even though no apology was needed. Keanu didn't sit. He stood beside her, arms loosely crossed, as if guarding her from the world. A few diners stared. Some smirked. Some shook their heads. Some whispered ugly things. But Keanu didn't move. He stayed rooted, a wall between her and their judgment. After several minutes, when the plate was half empty, the girl finally slowed. She breathed out a shaky sigh and wiped her mouth with the back of her hand. "I'm sorry," she whispered again. I didn't mean to eat so much." "You didn't eat enough," Keanu answered. Her eyes dropped. "People don't usually say that." He nodded thoughtfully. "People don't usually know what you've been through." She hesitated, then asked quietly, Can I tell you something? You don't have to listen." "I'm listening," Keanu said. Her hands gripped the edge of the table. "My mom always told me that when things get bad, God sends someone to help. But after she died, I kept waiting, and waiting, and waiting." She swallowed, blinking hard. "And then I stopped waiting, because I thought maybe I wasn't worth saving." Keanu's heart twisted. "You are," he said. "You absolutely are." She stared at him, truly stared, like she was studying him for the first time, trying to understand why a stranger cared when so many others didn't. Then she nodded to her crutch. "I lost my leg 2 years ago," she said. "Cancer. They took the whole thing off. And then my dad, he couldn't handle it. He left." Her voice shrank. "So I've been alone since then. I sleep under the bridge most nights. It's not far. I don't want to steal from anyone, so I just ask for scraps sometimes. But today I was so hungry I couldn't stand anymore." Keanu swallowed the burn behind his eyes. He sat down beside her, gently moving her plate so she could rest her trembling hands. "You didn't steal anything," he told her. "You asked politely. That takes more courage than most adults have." She gave a small, broken laugh. "That's the nicest thing anyone said to me this year." Keanu shook his head. "Then you've been talking to the wrong people." Before she could respond, a waitress approached, arms crossed, scowl deep enough to cut stone. "Sir," she said sharply, "is she with you?" Keanu looked up. "Yes," he said without hesitation, "she is." The girl's eyes widened. The waitress huffed. "Well, she can't stay long. Management doesn't want homeless people scaring away customers." The girl bowed her head, shoulders folding inward, apology already forming on her lips. Keanu's jaw locked. He stood slowly, not intimidating, not loud, but unmistakably firm. "She's not scaring anyone," he said. "She's eating, that's all." The waitress crossed her arms. "We have rules." Keanu stepped closer. "Then maybe your rules need humanity." The waitress stiffened, not because of his tone, but because she finally recognized who he was. Oh, Mr. Reeves, I didn't realize." "You shouldn't need to realize who someone is before treating them with kindness." Silence. The girl stared at him like he was performing magic. And maybe he was. The waitress swallowed, embarrassed. I'll bring her more food." She hurried away. The girl whispered, "Why did you do that?" Keanu sat back down beside her. "Because you deserve dignity," he said softly. "Everyone does." She nodded slowly, then something shifted in her expression. Something heavy, something fearful. "Sir," she whispered, "there's something else." Keanu leaned in, listening carefully. Her eyes darted around, making sure no one else heard. "Someone's been looking for me." His pulse tightened. "Who?" She swallowed. "A man, he says he knew my dad, but he doesn't, he lies." Her voice quivered. "He comes to the bridge at night. He says I owe him things. I run every time I see his truck, but last night he almost grabbed me." Keanu went still. Every instinct he had sharpened. "What does he look like?" he asked gently. A big man, she said. Beard, tattoos. He smells like smoke, She froze. Keanu noticed first. A truck, pulling up slowly across the street. A man inside, staring directly at her. Her face drained of color. That's him, she whispered. Keanu didn't turn his head sharply. He didn't want to startle the man into acting, but he shifted slightly, enough to see the reflection of the truck window in the diner glass. And the man inside. Staring. Hunting. Keanu's voice dropped to a low, steady calm. Stay behind me. Her hand clutched his sleeve. The truck engine revved. The man stepped out, and everything in Keanu's body switched from gentle to prepared. From listening to protecting. The man stepped out of the truck with the slow, confident swagger of someone used to taking whatever and whoever he wanted. Boots crunching on the asphalt, cigarette dangling from his mouth, eyes locked on the girl like she wasn't a child but property he was reclaiming. Keanu felt her tiny fingers clamp harder around his sleeve. That's him, she whispered, breath trembling, voice breaking. Please, don't let him take me. I won't, Keanu murmured, steady as stone. The man didn't look at him, didn't even acknowledge Keanu existed. He only stared at the girl with a look that made Keanu's skin crawl. Well, the man called out, spitting his cigarette to the ground. There you are, thought you could hide from me again. The girl shrank behind Keanu's arm. He took a slow step forward, placing himself fully between them. You need to leave, Keanu said quietly. The man finally looked at him and grinned. Who the hell are you supposed to be? Keanu didn't answer. Names didn't matter, only actions. The man flicked his eyes back to the girl. Come on, kid, don't make this worse. You know you belong with me. Her voice cracked. No, I don't. My dad didn't send you. Why, you lied. The man smirked. Your dad owed me money. That means you owe me money, and since you can't pay. His smile darkened. Keanu stepped closer. That's enough. The man's grin faltered. What, you gonna play hero? She your kid? His tone sharpened. Or are you just collecting strays? Behind them, a few diners watched nervously from their tables. No one moved. No one intervened. People never stepped in until it was too late. Keanu exhaled slowly. You're not taking her anywhere. The man laughed loud, mocking, echoing off parked cars. Oh, I get it. You think I'm scared of you. He took one bold step forward. The girl whimpered. The man jabbed a finger at Keanu's chest. Move. Keanu didn't blink. No. The man scoffed, reaching into his jacket. Keanu saw it, the shift of weight, the angle of his arm, the glint of metal. A blade, small but enough to terrify a child, enough to control her. But not enough to scare Keanu Reeves. The restaurant door swung open, the waitress stepped out, eyes wide, holding a phone. Sir, I called the police. The man snapped around, eyes blazing. Mind your business. She flinched back inside, door slamming shut. Keanu gently spoke over his shoulder. It's okay, stay behind me. The girl nodded fast, tears streaming. The man turned back to them, blade now fully visible. Kid, he barked, you have 3 seconds to step out from behind him or things get real ugly. Keanu didn't move. 3. The girl sobbed. 2. Keanu's jaw set. 1. He never finished the word. Keanu moved, not fast, not reckless, just controlled. A hand whipped forward, catching the man's wrist before the knife could swing. The man barked in shock as Keanu twisted sharply, forcing his fingers to release the blade. It clattered to the ground. The man roared. You! He swung wildly, fists flying, but Keanu stepped aside, letting the punch miss by inches. The man staggered off balance. Keanu used only what force was necessary, a palm strike to the chest, just enough to push him back. But the man didn't fall. He came back angrier. He lunged again, grabbing Keanu's shirt, spitting curses in his face. Keanu calmly pried his grip off, one finger at a time. You need to walk away, Keanu repeated, voice low, even. Now. The man stumbled back and suddenly noticed the faces in the diner windows. Phones out, people recording. His bravado flickered. He pointed a shaking finger at the girl. "This isn't over," he hissed. "You still owe." "She doesn't owe you anything," Keanu said. The man spat at his feet. Then he got in his truck. Tires screeched. He tore down the street, disappearing into traffic. Silence followed, eerie, heavy, choking. Keanu turned. The girl wasn't looking at the road. She was looking at him. And she broke. Not with noise, but with the collapse of a child who had held herself together far too long. She threw her arms around Keanu's waist and sobbed into his shirt. "I was so scared, I was so scared." Keanu knelt and pulled her gently into his arms, holding her the careful way you hold something fragile. "I know," he whispered, "you're safe now." Her fingers dug into him, as though afraid he'd disappear. He didn't. Minutes passed, maybe more. Keanu held her through every tremor. When she finally lifted her head, her voice was small, hoarse. "He won't stop, will he?" Keanu didn't lie. "No," he said softly, "he won't." She swallowed. "Then where do I go?" He looked at her, really looked, and what he saw hollowed him out. A child who had no home. No family. No protection. And now a target on her back. Keanu wiped her cheeks with his thumb. "You're coming with me." Her eyes widened. "Really?" "Yes," he said, "just until we figure things out." But the girl didn't hear the "until." She only heard, "You're not alone anymore." Keanu stood and reached for her crutch. But she surprised him. She took his hand instead. He didn't let go. They walked away from the diner, while onlookers murmured behind them. "That girl is lucky." Keanu Reeves, of all people. Did you see how he stood up for her? "I hope she'll be okay." Keanu ignored the whispers. She mattered, not their commentary. They reached his car, an old sedan, not flashy, not expensive, just simple and soft running because he hated drawing attention. He helped her into the passenger seat, making sure she was comfortable. She touched the seatbelt with reverence, almost as if she hadn't sat in a real car in months. "Sir," she said quietly. "Yes." "Why are you helping me?" Keanu paused before answering. "Because someone should have," he said, "a long time ago." Her lip trembled again, and she nodded. As Keanu got into the driver's seat, the girl looked out the window nervously. "Do you think he'll follow us?" "He won't find us," Keanu said with certainty. "I'll make sure of it." He started the engine. She leaned back, small hands folded in her lap, shoulders no longer tight with fear but not yet relaxed. They drove for a while through quiet neighborhoods and tree-lined streets until the city melted into something gentler. Keanu's home wasn't extravagant, modest, peaceful, filled with warmth, not wealth. When he parked, the girl hesitated. "Is it okay that I come in?" "Of course." Inside, she looked around like someone stepping into another world. There were shelves of books, soft lighting, a couch worn from years of use, and a window cracked open to let in the breeze. It looked safe. Keanu brought her a warm blanket. "You can rest," he said softly. "You're exhausted." She hesitated, then curled onto the couch. Keanu placed a glass of water beside her. He started to step away, but her hand shot out and grabbed his sleeve again. "Please don't leave." He froze. "I won't," he said. The fear in her eyes eased. She closed her eyes. Minutes later, she was asleep, breathing soft, peaceful breaths that sounded foreign to someone used to danger. Keanu sat nearby, watching her with the quiet protectiveness of a man who had lost too much too young. He didn't know her full story yet. He didn't know why the man wanted her, why her father owed money, why she had survived alone for so long without anyone noticing. But he knew one thing. She would never face any of that alone again. Keanu Reeves had seen broken things before, broken systems, broken people, broken hearts. But he had never, not once, been the kind of man who walked away. Not when someone was hurting. Not when a child was in danger. Not when the world turned its back. He stayed. And he would continue to stay. Until every shadow chasing her was gone. That was what she deserved. That was what he promised. And Keanu Reeves never broke a promise.